Okay, guys, so this is going to be a lesson over linear functions and equations of lines. So remember from our previous lesson over functions and average rate of change, the slope is given by y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Reminder that undefined slope is when the bottom is equal to 0. Horizontal slope is where the slope is equal to 0. And that means the top's going to be equal to 0. Now, when you have an undefined slope, it's going to go through the x-coordinate. And when you have a horizontal slope, it's going to go through the y-coordinate of a point. To find the x-intercept of a function, we're going to set the y value equal to 0. And to find the y-intercept of a function, you're going to set the x value equal to 0. Remember that parallel lines have the same slope, and perpendicular lines have opposite reciprocal slopes. Some other words you're going to see in math that deal with perpendicular, you'll see the word orthogonal or normal. Okay, those both mean perpendicular. Now, we have three forms of a line that we're going to be dealing with in algebra and pre-cal and calculus. Y equals mx plus b, that's slope-intercept form, where m is the slope and b is your y-intercept. We have standard form. Okay, and when lines are in standard form, I want you to get in the habit of using these formulas because they're good shortcuts for SAT and ACT, and they allow you to do stuff a lot quicker. Point slope form is y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. When we get to calculus and we're doing equations of a tangent line or normal line, it's okay to leave it in this form, or you can convert everything to slope-intercept form if you choose, okay? So the first thing we're gonna look at is how to graph lines, okay? So the first example problem, y equals 2x minus 3. When we graph a line, we're gonna start at the y-intercept of negative 3. 1, 2, 3, and I'm gonna put a line right there. I'm gonna dot right there. So we're gonna go up 2 and over 1. Up 2 over 1, and down 2 over 1 in this direction. Okay, so we're going to draw our line. If you got a straight edge, let's try and use a straight edge. And so our line looks like that. Okay, that's all there is to that. Okay, so next example problem, we're going to do y is equal to a negative 1/3 x plus 7. So we're going to start at a y-intercept of 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I'm going to go down 1 and over 3. Okay, so down 1 over 1, 2, 3. Down 1, 1, 2, 3. Down 1, 1, 2, 3. And up 1, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so get enough points where you can draw a nice straight line. So it's going to look something like that. Okay. Now we have the line y is equal to 5. So if it's y equals a number, it's going to be a horizontal slope going through that y coordinate. So it has a slope of 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to draw a horizontal line like this. Okay. So that's what our graph of y is equal to 5 looks like. And then if we're going to the next one, the line x is equal to a negative 2. It's going to go through the x coordinate. It's going to be an undefined slope. So it's going to go through x is equal to a negative 2. It's going to be vertical. So it's going to look something like that. Okay, now we're going to get into writing equations of lines. Okay, so first example, it says write the equation of the line where the slope is a negative 2/3 and the y-intercept is a negative 1. Okay, so we're just going to write into slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. Your slope is negative 2/3 x, and your y-intercept is negative 1, which is your b. And that's all there is to it. Nothing else. Okay, next example says write the equation of a horizontal line through the point 5, negative 1. Okay, and then we're going to write equation of line for a vertical line through the point 5, negative 1. So horizontal lines means that it's going to go through the y coordinate. So it's going to be the line y is equal to a negative 1. The vertical line is going to go through the x coordinate, so it's going to be the line x is equal to 5. Okay, and that's how we answer that question. Okay, getting into a little more detailed questions. Find the equation of the line through 2 points. So I like to label this point x1, y1, and x2, y2. Now the first step when you're doing an equation of the line is you got to find your slope. So m is equal to y2 minus y1, so negative 1 minus a negative 3, all over negative 7 minus 5. Okay, this turns into a plus plus, so it's 2 over negative 12, which is a negative 1/6. Now, it doesn't matter which point you're going to use for when you put in point slope form. I like to use point slope form a lot, so we're going to use point slope form. So we're going to do, I'm just going to use the first point, so y minus a negative 3 is equal to negative 1/6 times x minus 5. Okay, so that's your point slope form. Now, if you're on an AP exam, it's perfectly fine to leave it like that, or we have to convert it to y equals mx plus b. So when we do that, we're going to distribute that out. So it becomes plus 5/6. And then I'm going to subtract this 3 to the other side. And I'm going to do around the world. 6 times negative 3 is a negative 18. A negative 18 plus 5 is a negative 13 over 6. And so that's what your answer looks like. So either form works for me. They both mean the same thing. Okay, so what I did is I found my slope and I plugged it into my point slope form. And I used a point. Now, if you were to use this point, it still should come out to be the same answer. So it's always x minus the x coordinate and then y minus the y coordinate of that point. Okay, now we're going to do standard form. So it says find the equation of the line perpendicular to the line 3x minus 4y is equal to 7 through the point 6, negative 1. Okay, so first step is I'm going to find the slope of this line using my little formulas at the beginning of the lesson, opposite of a over b. So I'm going to do a negative 3 over a negative 4. So we get 3/4. Now, perpendicular slope is opposite reciprocal slope. So the symbol for perpendicular looks like that. And I'm going to flip the fraction and change the sign. So the slope of that new line is going to be negative 4/3. So I'm going to use the new point. So y minus a negative 1 is equal to negative 4/3 times x minus 6. Distribute out just like we did before. So this becomes 24 over 3, which is 8. And I'm just going to subtract the 1 to the other side. So it's negative 4/3 x plus 7 is my answer. Okay? So these little formulas come in handy. Now, you might have been taught in Algebra 1 to solve for y equals and, then change the slope there. That just takes time. That takes 30 seconds out of your time if you're that quick at it. So I'm trying to alleviate mistakes made by simple algebra mistakes and just try and get your time down. Because SAT is a time test as well as the AP exam. Okay. Next one, it says find the equation of the line that has undefined slope and has the same x-intercept as the equation 3x plus 2y is equal to negative 6. Okay, so I want to find the x-intercept of this equation right here. So your x-intercept is going to be c over a. Okay, so you get negative 6 over 3, which is a negative 2. Okay, so that's the point negative 2, 0 for your x-intercept. Now it says I want to write the equation of an undefined slope that has an undefined slope. So undefined slope goes through the x-coordinate. So this is the line x is equal to a negative 2. And there's nothing else to do with that. Next example, it says find the equation of the line that contains the point 1, negative 2 and is parallel to the line x plus 3y is equal to 6. So parallel lines have the same slope. So it's opposite of A over B. So this is a -1/3 is your slope. Now I want it to contain this point right here, so I'm going to do y minus a -2 is equal to a -1/3 times x minus 1. This becomes a plus plus. We're going to distribute that out. And I'm going to move the 2 to the other side. Now I'm going to do around the world. 3 times -2 is a -6, plus 1 is a -5, so it's -5/3. Okay, next one, it says find the intercepts for the equation, then write the equation of the line using the shortcut formulas. Okay, so your intercepts, your y-intercept is going to be c over b, which is going to be 8 over 4, which is 2. So that's the point 0, 2. Okay, your x-intercept is c over a, which is going to be 8 over -2. So your x-intercept is equal to a -4. So that's the point -4, 0. Now, if I want to write the equation of the line, I need to find my slope. So your m is opposite of a over b. So it's going to be 2 over 4, which is 1/2. So the equation of this line is going to be y is equal to 1/2 x plus 2. Because remember, your b in your slope-intercept form is going to be your y-intercept. Okay, next example. Find the equation of the line for which the x-intercept is 2 and the y-intercept is -1. So it's the point 2, 0 and the point 0, -1. So when we go through and do an equation of the line, we have to find our slope first. So this is x1, y1, x2, and y2. So it's going to be y2 minus y1. So it's going to be -1 minus 0 over 0 minus 2. So it's a -1 over -2. So your slope comes out to be a positive 1/2. Okay, so our equation of the line is going to be y is equal to 1/2 x minus 1. Now the reason why I don't have to plug in a point is I'm already given the y-intercept. The y-intercept is a -1. That's my b. Okay, last example problem. It says a truck rental company rents a moving truck for 1 day by charging $29 plus 7 cents per mile. Write a linear equation that relates the cost to the number of miles driven. Okay, so c of x. So our slope is going to be 0.07x, and our fixed cost is going to be $29. So it says I want to evaluate if the truck's driven 110 miles and 230 miles. So we'll be able to use our calculator on this. Okay, so going to our calculator, what I would do is I would do 0.07x plus 29 and put that in y1. And I'm going to use my table like I showed you how to do. I'm going to hit delete to clear it. And I'm going to put 110 in there and 230. So I get $36.7. So $36.70. And the other one comes out to be $45.10. Okay, so hopefully this was a good little review for equations of lines. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Thanks and have a good day.